I'm literally going to show you the exact system that we use to take businesses from invisible to fully booked. And I have numerous case studies where I can prove that everything that I'm going to show you here genuinely works. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through each stage of this document and allow you to fully visualize the only thing that you need to focus on to take your business to the place it needs to be. And let me just turn this friggin' light down because my lord, that is bright on my face. Get a hair transplant on Wednesday, so yeah, if you're looking at my hairline and thinking, he's cooked, you're preaching to the choir. I know. So, we need to grow a business to understand only a few things. Now, it was my mentor, William Brown, who taught me this, and I can't thank him enough for it. The only 4 stages of growing an online service-based business are as follows. Traffic, the funnel that you use to convert that traffic into higher intention engagement. How you convert that higher intention engagement into genuine sales, and the value that you give these people. So let's break this down. Let's break down the first part of this. Let's break down what traffic means, okay? So all we mean by traffic is this, okay? The friggin' attention that you're getting on your page, on your business, on your website, whatever it might be, it's the volume of that attention. So most people start here and stop here. They think if I post more, I'll get more business, but traffic is just attention. It's not trust and it's not sales. Now, let me repeat that to you. Traffic is just attention. It's not trust. It's not sales. We need to understand what kind of traffic you're building. Is it organic traffic or is it paid traffic? Now, organic traffic and paid traffic work very differently. I'm going to explain to you how they work differently, and they work differently in terms of their funneling mechanism. Okay, so funneling is where people drop the ball. It really is. Yeah, they get attention and they send people straight over to their DMs or homepage. There are instances where this works. This works really well for boost and organic. Okay, and I'll explain why it works well for that in a second. But this isn't a funnel. All right, this is a somewhat loose arrangement of funneling people's attention to a place of higher intent, but it's not really a funnel. Okay, I'm going to show you what a real funnel is though. But we want to capture attention again, pre-qualify leads, and guide them to a decision. A typical journey might look like this. They might see a reel, okay, i.e. a Facebook ad, yeah, which is a short form video. They go to a mini VSL or a landing page, they fill out a type form, and then they get a call booked in. And on the call, you close, okay? Now, this is all that a good funnel needs to do, all right? Grab attention, pre-qualify, and guide them into a decision. I'm going to show you how you can pre-qualify leads and guide them to a decision using 2 different types of funnelings. Okay, so when we get traffic, it's important to identify that there's 2 types of traffic. There's paid traffic and there's organic traffic. However, there are 2 forms of paid traffic. So really what I could have is another arrow here and down there, boosted post. All right? The thing is though, boosted posts and Facebook ads don't have the same sort of style to them. I'll tell you why. When you run a Facebook ad, it's fast, but you're running it to a really cold audience, okay? Very cold audience, and they end up needing nurturing. Okay, so because they need nurturing, you have to create an entire architecture. So it might look something like this initially. They might see an ad. They might go to a place of higher intent, whether that be a VSL or a landing page, by swiping up on the ad to learn more. And if they like what they see, they're going to fill in a calendar or a type form. And then below this, they've got onto a booked call. Okay. Now, the problem with this is that for a funnel to work well, what we have to do is at these intermission stages here, we have to increase the percentage conversion. Now, as when someone's seeing an ad of yours, you're asking them to immediately go somewhere where they're going to register interest in your services. It's quite a lot to ask from someone who's just knowing who you are. So in between these stages, we have to build out what we call retargeting, cold email nurture sequences. Sorry, not cold email nurture sequences, but email nurture sequences. We have to send them media assets. So it's very difficult. And I believe the closing rate from these calls is low, maybe even 20%. But the funnel's quicker, and you can build done-for-you infrastructure into that funnel that will do that converting for you so that you can convert hands off. That's one way of doing funnels. Now, people do insane numbers doing this. And even though the closing percentage on this sort of funneling is lower, the upper threshold to what you can earn and the scale that you can take your business to is a lot higher. But this takes a lot of work getting this Facebook ad stuff correct. On the other side of the spectrum, we have organic. Now, as I said before, I could have had boosted posts on this side technically, as you are paying for a boosted post. But the thing is, the way I use boosted posts acts a lot more like organic posting. Now, organic and boosted, it is slow. The sales cycle and the lead cycle is a lot longer. It can even take months to close some leads, okay? But it's a lot stickier. They are a lot more bought in because the time expenditure, okay, has led to conversion, coercion. No, I'm joking. It's led to conversion and conviction in the lead through time of them coming onto your page through the organic or the boosted content that has led them to feel trust. Trust. My handwriting's absolutely awful. You know, you can tell I was a proper twat at school because I was. So this is how this funnel works. They see the post, whether it's organic or it's boosted, and they follow your page. Then they're nurtured through two sources, DMs and content. DMs, because when someone follows your page from a boosted post, you know they followed your page because of that content of the boosted post. So you know they're interested in your business. So what you do, you engage them in the DMs and you build that relationship there. Whilst you're building a personal relationship with them in the DMs, even though they might blank you and most of them will, you'll still be able to build that relationship with a few people. They're also being converted, convinced, and nurtured through your content. And then they book a call. So this cycle here is longer. Okay, but when they get through the funnel, we would expect a close rate of about 40%. Now you'd think, well, maybe this might take twice as long. It doesn't. For sometimes it can take longer. But here's the thing. If you're getting 1, 2, 10, 30, 60, 100 followers every week, and it's compounding week on week on week, yeah, because you're doing well on the boosted posts, you're doing well organically, and you're growing an audience, and you can hire an appointment setter, you can grow and make an unbelievable amount of money doing this. In January, using this funnel alone, we cash collected 40K. And in February, using a collection of these two funnels, we cash collected 55K. We are trying to grow this funnel more because we know it's a far higher converting funnel than this funnel alone. But that's not to say that this funnel on the right-hand side doesn't have its place, because it absolutely does. Now, that's glossing over it. When we look into the nitty-gritty, there are elements of conversion here of each of these pieces of content that are absolutely fundamental. All you need to do to get someone to buy from you is shift their beliefs. But in order to shift their beliefs, you have to handle objections. Because for a belief to be shifted, the pre-existing belief that they must have has to be changed. So therefore, they have an objection to a new belief by confirmation bias, trying to determine that their current belief is the right one. Humans will kick and scream to defend the beliefs that they have. So you have to gently coerce them. There's me using that terminology again. God, I'm going to get myself arrested. You have to gently coerce them into believing what you say. How do we get people to believe what we're saying? Show proof. And do you know what we want to show proof of? People who look just like them, other client avatars, overcoming objections that they did have, so their beliefs are shifted. If you can shift beliefs successfully with your content by pre-handling objections that they might have, show proof that you can do that, and give people a place to go to where you can capture their intention, not just their attention, because now once people have decided that they are attentive to what you're saying, they're now showing intention about your products and your services. So if you can send them to somewhere of higher intent, landing page, VSL, DMs, comment a keyword, you've now turned this person into a lead. And you've turned them into a lead by showing them proof that you can handle their objections and therefore shift their beliefs. If you can do everything that I have just listed here, you're going to be golden. But you know what we all forget about in these industries? Do you know what we all forget about these industries? Is that what happens next after someone buys? Once someone buys, what happens next will affect whether your business grows. It really will. Referrals, retention, and repeat business depend on delivery. You can get so caught up in the front end that you can forget what really matters, which is actually solving the pain that your prospects have when you come to you. Your delivery shapes your content. Case studies, proof, transformational stories. Your backend is your marketing. When your client experiences are strong, your content becomes a growth loop. Clients become a case study. Case studies become social proof. Social proof will create new traffic, and new traffic will equal new clients. Look, you get a client. Now, this stage here will determine how the percentage to which your business grows. If your LTV, let's just call it, let's talk binary, is 1, i.e. the lifetime value of your client is simply the pound they pay you. Let's say you have a £1,000 per month, £1,000 program. So if your LTV is £1,000, okay, so the ratio is 1 to 1. You get one client, and from that one client, you get one form of payment. You're going to have a good business and you can scale. Yeah, that's not bad. You'll do okay, but you're going to have to eternally scale your front end. Now, that's for betas. Chads scale like this. LTV. They get their £1,000 initial cost. Then their client re-signs, so they get £1,000 again. Then they may re-sign after that and now upsell. Because as the client has progressed through the successful delivery of your program, they now have more expensive problems to solve and therefore will pay more. And because they're so impressed with the delivery of your service, at that second re-sign stage, they also referred someone who is now going to pay you at least £1,000. So very basically, from making one sale of £1,000, you doubled it. So now we're at £2,000. Then you doubled that. So we're now at £4,000. And then they invited a friend. So you're now at £5,000. So your LTV, your lifetime value that client has bestowed to you is actually 5x what it was because you just delivered a good service. And then guess what? That's just the referral process. That's not even talking about the case study that you will develop, that you will then use as social proof, and you'll use that social proof as a post to get you new traffic bringing you new clients, feeds the loop. When you get a new client, the effort and attention and the love that you put into them will determine whether that new client becomes a client that creates a case study which gets social proof and referrals. You can leverage the front end and the back end of your business to scale. Nick Setting really hammered this home to me. He was another mentor of ours after William Brown. You can scale on the front end, but you can also scale on the back end. And you scale on the back end by the successful delivery of the promise that you have made your prospects. Now, we will scale your business for you. And you know we will, because I've just showed you the exact steps on how to do it. I left no stone unturned there. If your content feels random, if you're tired of inconsistent leads, if you're not sure how to scale, this 4-step system is your roadmap. You don't need to post more, you need a structure that compounds over time. Okay, I want you to follow this YouTube channel, okay, because we're going to post a lot more on here. I know this YouTube channel's dead, so you might think, what's this guy talking about? We have 130,000 followers across all platforms. We have 62,000 on our main Instagram. We have 14,000 on our business page. We have 34,000 on our Facebook page, and we have a TikTok page going as well. Okay, so look, we'll go deep into the traffic stage on the next YouTube video, and we'll show you how to build it using both organic content and paid ads that don't suck your soul. I really hope you've enjoyed this YouTube video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Please follow along.